What's up, Taiwan? I'm Must Be Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The Dajia Mazu pilgrimage is wrapping up, and with unseasonable temperatures, many will be wiping the sweat off their brow. Sally Ensign has more.
Crouching under Mazu's sedan, hoping for good fortune. Devotees of this major deity in Taiwan have been following her 8-day pilgrimage through the country. It's physically taxing, and even more so in this atypical heat wave.
今天天气很热哦。现在至少还有风，比昨天好很多了。昨天走的时候还没有什么风，比较闷热。
Scorching hot. It's a sunny day, but you can still see so many people here just to worship the god, the Mazu, the goddess.
Even under the beating sun, worshippers from all over Taiwan push forward to complete this annual pilgrimage. This is Taiwan's biggest religious procession that follows the sea goddess Mazu some 300 kilometers through the country. This year, hundreds of thousands of people have shown up to take part, but for many, the heat is almost unbearable due to an unseasonably warm start to the year. Temperature records have been broken in the last few months, with Taiwan seeing its hottest March day recorded when the mercury almost hit 40 degrees Celsius. According to the health professionals traveling alongside the procession, the extreme heat took its toll.
有遇到太热中暑的，然后后送医院这样子。
今年是最热的一年，所以随行的大家都还蛮辛苦的。
Summer doesn't officially start for another 2 months, but with temperatures already well into the 30s, there are concerns that the rapidly accelerating climate crisis would impact many of Taiwan's traditions.
因为高温的不适，他们已经在考虑要去减少参与的天数，甚至说是改变他参与的形式。过去可能是徒步走完全程，未来他可能考虑会改搭大众运输工具或者其他的方式来完成这个绕境。
As this year's procession winds down, an occasional spring breeze offers these pilgrims some respite. But as extreme temperatures become the norm, the followers of Mazu in this age-old Taiwanese custom are walking into an uncertain future. Luffy Li and Sally Ensign in Jianghua County for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's extreme weather changes are affecting the country's bees and the honey they produce. Xiaoliqiu reports.
On a rooftop in northern Taiwan, Xiaoliqiu tends to her bees. A hobby she picked up when she retired.
其实有时候你看到这个蜜蜂在这样飞，非常有疗愈的作用。真的啊，真的啊，你看到它这样飞，真的很可爱啊。然后它是低频的那个声音嘛，对，然后你就站在旁边这样看，有时候我就站在旁边这样看它，你知道，哎，觉得是种享受。
Beekeeping is more than just a recreational exercise. 3/4 of all crops in the world depend on bees to pollinate them. But pesticides, mites, and extreme temperature changes are causing problems for bee populations. And in southern Taiwan, it has impacted this year's honey harvest.
以前就是去山上的时候，200多箱蜜蜂，我们就可以采1到5天就可以采900公斤的蜂蜜，但现在就是比较少，就是差不多10天左右才有办法采300公斤那边。
In February, southern Taiwan saw soaring temperatures and little rainfall. The result? Fewer flowers blooming in the spring, meaning less nectar for the bees to make into honey. Beekeepers have had to feed them sugar, adding to their operating costs, and they hope the government can help.
那这个部分呢，我们已经有通报到农业部去。那农业部现在召开专家会议以后，才会责成是否会开放天然灾害的救助。
For Sherry in northern Taiwan, this year's rainy and cold winter also affected her hives and the honey she gets from them. And although beekeeping for her is a hobby, not a livelihood, it saddens her all the same.
也不是说为了赚钱了，其实话说回来了，我觉得，哎，养它其实也还不错，可是呢，要去照顾它，还蛮麻烦的，所以其实你还是要有这个爱心。
Either as a hobby or a business, honey production cannot exist without bees. And as extreme weather increases, it's created a sticky situation for both bees and their keepers. Devin Tsai and Xiaoliqiu for TaiwanPlus.
Marine conservationists across the globe are working to protect and revive coral reefs damaged by rising sea temperatures. Reese Ayers looks at some of the techniques being used in Taiwan.
A sea of skeletons, once an array of colourful corals now being bleached toward extinction. It's a story repeated on reefs across the world, and it's impacting local ecosystems, including the huge number of sea creatures that depend on coral reefs for food and shelter. Evidence points to rising sea temperatures due to climate change causing the bleaching. But there's hope for these reefs, as marine conservationists find new ways to revive coral communities.
We're attaching the coral skeletons on this net. It will serve as the base for the grafted corals, the corals that we want to propagate.
Carmela Sevilla, a diving instructor working in the Philippine coastal town of Baoan, dedicates her time to protecting the damaged reefs by building coral nurseries.
The nurseries, when they're created, has different kinds of corals. It has a selection of corals, and it is closely monitored. So it will actually help scientists see which corals are more resilient to climate change, and therefore they will be able to create recommendations to propagate those kinds of corals.
And it's those more resilient corals that could be the key to rebuilding reefs, as they might be able to withstand rising sea temperatures.
It will not directly help coral bleaching, but because of what we have seen on the reef, so sometimes some corals, when they bleach and then they recover, they can be a little stronger than their friends, right? So you want to really propagate that stock.
Just across the sea in Taiwan, marine scientists are also taking steps to cultivate more heat-resistant corals, particularly as the El Niño effect compounds the warming of the Western Pacific, a process its cooling counterpart La Niña may not be able to counteract.
对台湾来说，下半年大概一半的几率会进到反圣婴，而现在整体的海温因为已经垫高了，那到反圣婴的时候，整个西太平洋啊，包括像菲律宾啊、台湾这一带，发生海洋热浪几率是非常高的，也就是我们可能即将迎来下一次的珊瑚大白化事件。
Not only are sea temperatures rising, but a lack of typhoons in recent years is starving Taiwan's reefs of the cooler waters they need to thrive.
基本上一年大概会有三个台风会影响台湾。那台风经过的时候，它会把一些比较深层冷的海水带到表面上去做交换，等于是帮珊瑚做降温。
With the effects of global warming unlikely to subside anytime soon, reefs may have to rely on more resilient strains of corals to survive the drastic impact humans are having on the seas. Andy Shi and Reese Ayers for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's picturesque Xiaoliqiu is taking action to protect its environment, as visitors to the small offshore island will soon have to pay conservation fees. Starting in July, visitors to 3 protected coastal areas will be limited to 300 a day and will need to pay around $2 for entry. The restrictions come as the Pingtung County government moves to protect the island's ecology as tourism surges in the area. Xiaoliqiu is one of southern Taiwan's most popular tourist destinations and draws hundreds of thousands of visitors each year. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, the Olympic flame has been lit for this year's Paris Summer Games. Check out this footage from a rehearsal at Greece's ancient Olympia. I'm Liao. Take care and see you next time.
船，它可是世界级的潜点。看到这广阔的风景，当时的我是有恐慌症的。
我做到了 ！Have a nice dream. Discover the beauty of Taiwan. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. on TaiwanPlus.